I told you I'd be back. What up, people? It's your boy Chig. You are through to Chig Flicks, where I talk to you about movie reviews. And in my quest for filling in quarantine time, you get to look at it through your DVD collection. Yes, I'm still one of the few people that actually have DVDs. So you start looking through your DVD collection, and you think, you know what? What movie should I review today? And I thought to myself, you know what I watched very recently? The Meg. Yep, I actually have that DVD. The Meg is the 2008 hit. Oh, it was a hit, all right. Even if financially it was a hit, it made over 500 million pounds on 130, maybe 150 million pound budget. Starring Jason Statham as a marine biologist who has to essentially deal with a prehistoric shark called the Meg, or the full name, the Megalodon. What do I think of this movie? So let's put it this way. First and foremost, I like Jason Statham. I like him in a lot of movies. There are some movies I think he absolutely stinks in. But then there are some movies that I do like of his that are just enjoyable, where you don't have to overthink it too much. You just see him as he's presented, and you take him for what he is. There are also some movies whereby he stars in, and you look at the cast around him, and he's the only one doing the heavy lifting of that cast. And quite honestly, outside of Jason Statham, probably the best actor in this thing was probably the girl, the little girl. I like Ruby Rose. She was a forgettable character. There were a lot of forgettable characters in this movie. Having said all of that, I love this film. I love this film. I don't know why. I think it's a film that is very much outdated, to be honest. I think Hollywood have been trying to recreate the success of Jaws for a long, long time. They've tried. Some have succeeded, some have failed. The ones that have failed, I'm thinking more of Sharknado, things like that. But one of the better movies that they tried to recreate in the 90s, and that's why I refer to the 90s, was Deep Blue Sea. I love Deep Blue Sea. Again, another film where I think they have problems. I think they have, quite honestly, bad actors in that movie. Samuel L. Jackson was the best character in that movie. I might review that film as well at some point. He's the best character in that movie, and he dies halfway through the film, 2/3 of the way through the film. And maybe it's because of my love for that movie that it helps me enjoy this, because this followed very much the beats by beats of Deep Blue Sea, in the sense that they were both underwater stations that were monitoring the activity of sharks and trying to understand the activity of sharks. In that particular instance, they created their enemy, and in this particular instance, they created their own problem. You have to see the movie in order to understand what I'm talking about. But I liked this movie. I'll be honest, the only characters you'll remember when you come out of this movie is Jason Statham and probably the girl, because I do think that they've got good chemistry, they've got good interplay, and that. Probably the second half of this movie is better than the first half of the movie. The first half is a lot of faffing about and setting up and things like that. You'll be watching it, and you'll just be thinking, all right, where's the shark already, right? They also try and force feed a romance in there. You ain't gonna buy that romance. It's very much forced. Not that the people didn't have chemistry. It's just, although I don't think they necessarily did, not romantically, but it feels a bit force fed. That why did we have to have a romance story in there? Also, it's important to know this is a PG-13 film. Eli Roth was initially supposed to direct this movie. That would have been, I mean, anyone who's seen Eli Roth's work will understand why that would have been important. He dropped out, and the person that picked up the directing scopes was someone called John Tattelloop. John Tattelloop? John Tattelloop? I don't know, something like that. Anyway, you may have heard of him, you may not have heard of him, but one of his most famous films was the film Wild Wild West. Yep, that guy. He directed that movie. So it didn't necessarily have a lot going for it. And when I went to see it, I saw it in the cinema, I had very low expectations for it. But when I came out of the movie, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. I didn't try and overthink it. I thought Jason Statham does what Jason Statham does. You know, I thought he was good in the movie. You ain't gonna remember any other character. I don't think really any other character means anything. When any other character died, you were just like, huh? Like it just didn't mean anything. There's one guy who clearly is the LL Cool J type of character, like to the point where he tries to play LL Cool J and doesn't particularly hide it very well. Yeah, it is what it is. But to me, I found it an enjoyable movie. Yes, there are loads of things that loads of holes you can poke in it. But honestly, I thought it was an enjoyable watch. I give it a C plus. Don't get me wrong, there are issues, but I've seen a lot worse. And I would say if you're looking for a movie, not that you would, during this time you probably watch every movie that's ever been created right now. But I'll tell you what, put Meg on the list if you haven't already. It's a decent watch. It doesn't go on for huge amounts of time as well. Just a little under 2 hours. And it does fly by, to be fair. And the movie, ultimately, it made 400 million past its original budget. So you best believe they're going to make a sequel. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Please leave it in the comments below. Please do give this video a thumbs up. It does help the show get noticed as we start to move towards 200 subscribers. That's the aim. So let's see if we can get there together. I owe you guys one more review this weekend, don't I? Along with my promise. So I'll make sure I get that out to the people. But yeah, go and see the Meg. Don't expect anything special, but I think it's an enjoyable enough film where you'll think to yourself, you know what, this was fun. It was fun. So it's a fun 90s throwback movie. And if you like Jason Statham, go see it. He's definitely been in worse. Anyway, you guys let me know what you think. Also, let me know if there's any movies you actually want me to review and see. I might have seen them and I just haven't reviewed them. Let me know. Leave it in the comments below. Until later, I'm out of here. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Stay safe. Peace.